Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk about finances on the farm, specifically the availability of credit as we look to the new year. Our special guest, Tim Cook, Chief Credit Officer with Farm Credit Services of America and Frontier Farm Credit. We'll also have features from Kansas Corn, Kansas Wheat, and the Kansas Farm Bureau, plus our weekly updates from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, KFB.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com.
In agriculture news from agview.net, a report out from USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture and Purdue University show a strong job demand for new college graduates with degrees in agriculture programs. U.S. college graduates can expect approximately 59,400 job opportunities annually between now and 2025. This reflects a 2.6% growth from the previous 5 years. Employer demand will exceed the supply of available graduates with bachelor's degrees or higher in agriculture-related fields. A spokesman for USDA NIFA said students studying agriculture have made a sound career choice and will graduate into a strong and growing job market in the years ahead. According to the Association of Equipment Manufacturers' monthly flash report, the sale of all tractors in the U.S. during November were up 41% compared to the same month a year ago. Now, for the 11 months in 2020, a total of 263,122 tractors were sold. That's a 16% increase year to date. For the month, two-wheel drive smaller tractors, those under 40 horsepower, up 47% from a year ago. Those 40 and under horsepower tractors up 28%. Sale of two-wheel drive 100 horsepower plus tractors up 24%. Four-wheel drive tractors sales up 91%. For the 11 months, two-wheel drive tractors, those small ones, up 20% over a year ago. 40 and under 100 horsepower up 12%. Two-wheel drive 100 plus horsepower tractors up 1%. Four-wheel drive tractors up 5%. By the way, combine sales up 33% for the month. Sale to combines so far for this year, 4,544. That's an increase of 6% over the same period last year. And the U.S. animal protein sector expected to face a 12% increase in feed costs next year. That will mark the highest year-over-year inflation since 2011. With corn futures above $4 a bushel, soybean meal around $350 a ton, cattle feeders, hog producers, and chicken producers will pay higher prices for feed than they have in many years, according to a new report out from CoBank's Knowledge Exchange Division. The higher feed costs come at a challenging time as meat and poultry industry margins have been pressured by weak prices in 2020 due to COVID-19. Average producer margins for cattle, hogs, and broilers fell into negative territory this year after the pandemic disrupted food service demand and drove widespread meat plant slowdowns, even some shutdowns. Now, much of the increase in feed prices being driven by Chinese demand for grain as it rebuilds its hog herd and overall animal protein supply after African swine fever ravaged its herd the last couple of years. USDA is forecasting that China's corn imports will more than triple in this 2021 crop year, with much of that increase coming from the U.S. More on these and other ag stories at agview.net. Stay with us.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
And joining us now is Tim Cook. He is the Chief Credit Officer for Frontier Farm Credit Services of America. Tim, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Pleasure to be on.
Well, interesting times in production agriculture as we wrap up what has been very much an interesting year that agriculture's had to play in it. But one of those things that we continue to read reports and see things from the Federal Reserve Bank that agriculture is going to come through this, albeit with some help. But kind of what's the 3,000-foot view that you see ag credit and helping production agriculture?
Yeah, interesting to say the least. As if we back up to maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months ago, things looked pretty bleak for agriculture. The cattle sector was having trouble getting cattle killed, and corn and soybean prices looked pretty tough. Now, as we fast forward to today, as you reference, it looks like overall farm profitability for 2020 is going to be very, very strong. There's no doubt that the farm program payments have, as well as the disaster assistance payments tied to COVID, the CFAP payments, have had a big impact on that. But I think we'd be remiss if we didn't recognize that the overall commodity price environment and the most recent rally is a big component of that as well.
Well, it is, and we've talked with other folks and go, well, that helped in 2020, but looking at 2021, a lot of those things won't be there, and so we're going to have to find some place for all these crops to go. Yeah.
Well, and that's the positive thing. It looks like we've entered into a demand-driven market. These last several years, it's been the supply side that's really driven any price rallies we've had. But with China coming back into the market in a big way for U.S. crops, both corn and soybeans, and it looking like South America is, at least for the time being, having some weather challenges, I think there's at least some short-term legs underneath these crop prices that we're seeing, and we're optimistic. And if we look at the futures market, there's certainly an opportunity for producers to hedge some profitable levels for 2021 as well.
Tim Cook is the Chief Credit Officer for Frontier Farm Credit and Farm Credit Services of America. We're going to take a break, and we'll have more with him in just a moment.
The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And agview.net, serving the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt with reliable and relevant agriculture information. agview.net.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
guest is Tim Cook, who is the Chief Credit Officer for Frontier Farm Credit, as well as Farm Credit Services of America. And Tim, we've kind of set the stage on the kind of where we got to where we are now. So let's talk about credit availability, opportunities for maybe farmers paid off some of those loans or banked some of that. How are we looking into 2021?
You know, as we come off of 2020, we've talked about, we think overall profitability is going to be pretty strong. Some of the ad hoc program payments that we think will help restore some of the working capital that's been lost the last couple of years. So, you know, as we look at 2021, we think producers have an opportunity to lay off some of the risk on the commodity price side, and maybe even focus on whether it's rolling some equipment that has been deferred the last several years. You know, we also think there's going to be a pretty robust real estate market this year. Prices have been pretty stable. And we think those will continue to be supported by the low interest rate environment that we've enjoyed these last 6 or 7 months, as well as, you know, a reasonable level of real estate that'll be on the market and available for sale.
Tim, and that's what I think 2020, it's been a kind of start-stop when it came to real estate. There may have been months or weeks that we saw a lot of sales, very strong sales, and then there was times when people held back, and still every day there's still more things that we're not sure about moving forward with the COVID situation, but there's probably a lot of land that is ready. Those generations have inherited it or whatever that maybe want to exchange that into cash.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that'll drive, you know, as we talk to realtors and real estate brokers, they're anticipating a very busy year for real estate activity. As you mentioned, you know, when COVID hit, a lot of things stopped. And, you know, auctions that were scheduled either had to go to online or they were canceled altogether. So I think that rolled forward. You know, we've got a change, or at least it looks like a change in the administration coming in DC, some uncertainty about what does that all mean from a tax standpoint. And as you said, every year there's just a normal amount of estate activity that happens. So I think the confluence of those three components is also what will contribute to possibly higher real estate activity this year.
All right, Tim, we appreciate your insights on kind of where we have been and where we're heading, and interesting comments. So we appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, glad to do it.
Tim Cook, who is the Chief Credit Officer for Frontier Farm Credit and Farm Credit Services of America, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Hi, this is Sharon Thielen, and I'm here to give you the Kansas Corn Update. I serve as the Director of Education for Kansas Corn, and this school year has been not the typical school year that we traditionally prepare for, but one that we still have made a lot of adjustments in order to really help our teachers during this time of change. And so this last weekend, we were very excited to be able to host a Seed to STEM workshop in Sublette, Kansas, where we were able to get 17 teachers together to learn new labs and how you can incorporate those in the classroom during a normal school year, but also during this time of hybrid learning. In addition, we have been making adjustments to our guest speaker opportunities, where we have 2 retired teachers who have agriculture background who traditionally visit classrooms, and they do hands-on activities with them, teaching them about the ag industry. But what we've done is we still offer that, but we may do the presentation outside, or we'll do it virtually, but we send them the teachers the materials in advance. So it's still a hands-on opportunity for students to learn, even in this time of virtual learning. But in addition, we have had a team of great teachers that have adjusted all of our labs. We're up to 93 labs now on our lesson library, but many of them now can be used for in-home use. So kansascornstem.com, all spelled out, is the place to go for all these great resources for anybody looking for something fun to do both in the classroom and at home.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Kansas State University researchers, in collaboration with the International 10+ Genome Project led by the University of Saskatchewan, have announced the complete genome sequencing of 15 wheat varieties representing breeding programs around the world, an invaluable resource to improve global wheat production. This effort gained momentum in 2018 when the K-State team, in collaboration with the International Wheat Genome Sequencing Consortium, published the Genome Assembly of Chinese Spring, the first complete reference genome of bread wheat. This study represents the start of a larger effort to generate thousands of genome sequences of wheat, including genetic material brought in from wheat's wild relatives. According to Jesse Poland, associate professor at K-State and director of the Feed the Future Innovation Lab for Applied Wheat Genomics and the Wheat Genetics Resource Center, our team was uniquely suited to represent U.S. wheat in this effort here in America's breadbasket and as a land-grant institution with a strong history in wheat research. We are fortunate to have world leaders in breeding and genetics under one roof and generous support from the National Science Foundation, Kansas Wheat, and many others. The Kansas team was responsible for sequencing and analyzing the hard red winter wheat variety Jagger, released in 1994 by the K-State breeding program. Jagger was a landmark wheat variety in the Great Plains and covered millions of acres for many years. It was selected for this project because of its relevance as a breeding parent, as it is found in the pedigrees of current varieties across the U.S.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know-to-Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
The Kansas Farm Bureau Excellence in Agriculture Award Program recognizes young farmers and ranchers who actively contribute and grow through their involvement in Farm Bureau and agriculture. Jackie Munt from Pratt County will represent Kansas at the American Farm Bureau Federation Annual Convention in January. Jackie is the Communications and Marketing Manager at Kansas Cooperative Association, a large agribusiness co-op in the state, giving her a broad base of experience in communications, agronomy, policy leadership, and education. Munt currently serves on the Pratt County Board of Directors and holds leadership roles as the Pratt Community College Collegiate Farm Bureau Chapter Advisor and a co-advisor for the 4-H Ambassador Program. Outside of her career and leadership, she helps her significant other on his farm of dry land, irrigated crops, and cow-calf operation. Congratulations, Jackie. Kansas Farm Bureau wishes you luck in the national competition.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
The Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service has awarded a total of $14.4 million to 76 state entities, universities, and other partners working on strengthening programs that protect animal health. Specifically, the funding is targeted for projects focused on increasing practical livestock biosecurity measures, supporting projects to enhance early detection of diseases such as foot and mouth disease and African swine fever, and improving emergency response capabilities at national veterinary diagnostic laboratories. Kansas State University was awarded funding for 5 projects. 2 will focus on improving biosecurity for livestock operations and fairs and expositions. The remaining 3 will target improving testing efforts for FMD and African swine fever. The Kansas Department of Agriculture also received funding for a project that seeks to build upon the state's response efforts to a foreign animal disease. The 2018 Farm Bill provided funding for these programs as part of an overall strategy to help prevent animal pests and diseases from entering the U.S. and reduce the spread and impact of potential disease incursions. This is the second year APHIS is providing this Farm Bill funding. Last year, APHIS provided $10.2 million that funded 44 projects.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know-to-Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know-to-Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Good morning, folks. Colette here with Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. Holiday season is in full swing, and while everyone rushes around buying gifts, grain sales have slowed. We have seen a 50 to 60 cent pullback in beans and a 15 or so cent pullback in corn from the recent highs. Wheat has also backed off recent highs, but still hanging around levels we haven't seen for a while, much like beans. Many are looking for what will make the rally continue. Important things to watch will be the weather story, both in South America and at home, exports, and what kind of numbers we will see from the USDA. While the dollar remains weaker and carryout numbers are friendly, we have certainly seen that things can change on a dime this year, especially the way the grain markets have moved. It would not be surprising to see the bean market continue to pull back without additional news to feed the bulls. We have seen beans rally $3 since August, and many days the bean market has traded in a range of 20 cents or greater. So it's important to note that beans moving $1 or so isn't unreasonable. These are levels we haven't seen in a long time, so decision making can become more difficult. If you're wondering how to make these market moves benefit you, give us a call at 888-452-8751. 2021 is fast approaching and the markets are moving. I'm Colette at Pinion, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Well, that's our show this week. Be sure and be social with us online at KansasAgReport.net or on Facebook, Kansas Ag Report Television Show, or Twitter at Kansas Ag Report. COVID, it's not a hoax, a fantasy, or even a conspiracy. It's real. You have the right to choose a mask. I did all the right things and just been cleared after some very long days fighting COVID. Thank you to the frontline workers, and the tasks that you do are appreciated by so many of us. What can the rest of us do? Pretty simple. Wear a mask, socially distance, wash your hands frequently. If you're not feeling well, please stay home. Let's be Kansas smart and Kansas strong. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Are you looking for Medicare supplement insurance plans? Now is a good time to look at your options with Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. A Medicare supplement insurance plan can help cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, co-insurance, and certain limitations that can be costly in the event of an accident or illness. With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you have options to Medicare supplement insurance plans with 4 levels of affordable coverage and service from an organization known for its commitment serving Kansans. We encourage you to compare our rates. For more information and to get a quote, contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.